Greetings, everyone. I'm calling from the big island of Hawaii. Hold on. Okay, there's my camera. All right. I hope you read the title of today. It's my title that I always use because there's so many problems in the world today in every aspect of life: government, religion, storytellers, speakers, you name it. How much truth is really coming out right now? All right. So I just want to start off. I'm in Hawaii. There was a lot of stuff going on here in the UFO world, a lot of secret stuff going on in the army bases and things like that as well. But we had it on the news recently about an object going across the sky, going into the ocean. Uh, Everybody denies that it's theirs or what it was, but it was filmed for about almost a mile going across the sky before it went into the ocean. All right, that's just one thing. Now, on the other island, 7 people saw the ship over one town, which only happened a few days ago as well. And that's in the past week. I haven't been outside. I built a tower so I could see the sky and everything on next to my roof. It's all the way up at the top, except it's been raining and cloudy just about every night. And I kind of find that's not, let me try something here. That's not something that should be normal or is normal. But then again, trying to prove anything in this reality is really hard. And if you're a scientist, it's easy to say whatever you want and tell people that's what they have to believe, and then they have to believe it. Conspiracy theory is a great word. The only difference between a theory and a conspiracy theory is how many people believe it. If most people believe a theory, it's accepted. But if nobody believes a theory, it's a conspiracy theory. Meaning, whoa, we don't believe that. That can't be happening, or it's not real. All right, let me just get into this. Okay. All right. So, I want to get into the UFO world. We're going to go into the spiritual world, the religious world, one at a time. In the UFO world, I've been in it almost all my life. It all started at 6 years old. So from that point on, I knew aliens, UFOs are real. By the time I was 12, there was no doubt about it. All right, I'm not going to go into my whole story, but I've been in it since then. And then over the years, I had ships following me all the time and different things like that. Not government ships. And there's a big difference between what we can do, what we did do, what we have the capabilities of doing in the present time. All right, people will say, well, the word they love to use is a tic-tac. All right, and that's a ridiculous word because it's just a man-made word for something that they claim to know nothing about. And what's even sadder, in all the UFO world, all the people, including somebody I've been trying to get in touch with for a long time, Lou Elizondo, talks about a tic-tac. A tic-tac's a spot moving around this way and that way. I was with Sergeant 18 for over 6 years. We filmed all kinds of ships. We put the pictures out. We did a conference. We were lecturing around the United States. They got to see the pictures all the time. Then we kind of had a separation in 2002. But Global Sciences is the company that we went around the United States lecturing for. The person that ran it died, and it kind of shut down and stopped. Global Sciences. I got to meet and become friends with many, many of the UFO people. Many of them have been taken out. I'm not going to go into the details. But 15 of my best friends, or good friends, disappeared. 2 of them were put in jail. 1 of them was put in a nut house. And when it's in a nut house, it's still in a nut house. And I don't know why UFO people and anybody else involved isn't helping getting him out of there. He absolutely did nothing wrong. They claimed he had uranium, a barrel, and he was going to put it in people in Congress and government in their toothpaste to kill him. He's going to walk around with uranium, take a spoon, scoop it out of his uranium container and put it in somebody's toothpaste. Really? All right. But that's how he was arrested for that. And then they put him in a nut house. And they said he couldn't go to trial until they evaluated him. So since 1996, he's been being evaluated, people, in the UFO world. People, why are you afraid to go near him? You know why? Because when I was going to go see him in 96, I happened to go to a person's house that worked for FEMA, and they had like 20 computers in the house, and they monitored different things. And we were talking, and he goes, don't even think about going to see him. They'll take your family out, and then they'll take you out. And that's what I was told then. All right. So I didn't go to see him. But then over the years, he kind of just disappeared. I saw his video. It was shot on Long Island. I went out to where the ship crashed as well. And basically, it was the best video ever taken. Now, sadly to say, he made copies of it, sent them around the world to different people, and they were given instruction not to release them until he dies. It was a very stupid thing, because now he's been in jail since then, all right? And they'll never let him out. But they also will not kill him. I mean, when he dies, those videos will come out. But that's going to be a while. Maybe it's sooner. He's been sick and a lot of things right now. But the interim is the UFO world doesn't talk about him, doesn't bring his name up, don't do anything, because they're afraid. So these people that are in the UFO world are afraid of many things. Now, somebody like David Wilcock, 2 years ago, whatever it was, oh, they tried to kill me. He almost was crying on the camera. Oh, they tried to kill me. They tried to kill me. Oh, really? When he first came out, he was on public TV saying he was God. And now he's a super famous author and speaker. All right. These people that claim to be involved in something are afraid of their own shadows. You know why? In the UFO world, speakers that don't come out until they're, 70? And they know they're going to die, and then they'll come out and speak and talk. Why? Is it because of their pension or the money that they get, that they're getting paid? All right. Now, Stephen Greer, the biggest name in the Disclosure Project, claiming credibility for everything. Now, people, listen to this. It's very important. I know people don't like to listen to me because I'm talking about the truth. And how many people want to hear that? But 97, 98, when I was actually lecturing around the United States with Sargel 18. Well, I had a friend, Phil, I'm not going to say his last name. He worked for a famous woman. He was her bodyguard. And research on, guess who? Mr. Greer. Trying to find out where he supposedly worked, where he was a doctor, where he did all these things. All right, he couldn't come up with anything. And then all of a sudden, he has money. All right. And suddenly it's the Disclosure Project. All right. I would say people like him, people like Lou Elizondo, that didn't say anything important. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Stephen Greer is saying, we'll get into that, but he's saying a lot of things. But in the interim, this is what he claims. I'm not lying, telling you the honest truth. He said he was offered $2 billion to shut up. All right. Anybody with any kind of a brain that's offered $2 billion and doesn't take it must be mentally disturbed, sick, or some serious problem going on. Because this is the reason. If I had $2 billion now, I could pay 100 people to do research and put it out there. But you know what the problem with that? He couldn't put his name on it. Well, if they do it, I can't put my name on it. Well, but he could get the world help that they need and everything else, the truth and all that. People, look, there's great storytellers out there. I know people, like I said, I was lecturing from 1996 to 2002 with Global Sciences with Sargel, and we got a letter, I could put it up, sent to him directly from NASA, warning us not to interfere, sit back and watch what happens. And he says, this is not a threat. This is just a warning of advice. Step back. Don't get involved. All right. That's what we got. We weren't offered money. And Sargel and I were lecturing and doing things. We shot more pictures of UFOs, ships that look like ships, than anybody else in the United States for 5 years straight. And we showed them. All right. And kind of people weren't ready for any of it. We were filming some weird things. We came out with orbs in 96. We went public in New York City. And I said, we're going to film orbs in front of everybody in the room. And we did. He talked and I shot pictures the whole time. Orbs in all the pictures. I can go and tell a story about that. It was incredible. He had the name Orbs copyrighted. Not that he can do much with it, but he did. All right. So we were shooting them everywhere with different kind of cameras. And I could show you a picture of me dancing with thousands of them around me that multiple people shot with different kind of cameras. But that's only one thing. Where we went was government property. And it's up in Wanacue, New Jersey. It is a very important place on the planet. And because there's multiple stories about Phil Snyder, okay, you heard that story. I think that's the second most important UFO story. But did you hear about Tesla? Tesla worked with aliens in Wanacue, New Jersey. And the whole story is ships were going in and out of the reservoir. They flooded a city to create a reservoir, but the ships were going in and out of it for 6 months, almost 9 months, really, total. But you don't hear that story. The UFO people that talk about the Montauk Project and all those things have no clue what's really going on. All right. Al Bielek became a friend of mine. Preston Nichols, well, I met him a few times. He put a lot of stuff out there, claimed a lot of different things, but I didn't believe anything he said. And he was kind of weird. He was overweight, but he would eat at his conference. In our conference, he ate a whole pizza while we were doing the conference. Had to listen to him chewing and everything else. And he went on to stories that all the aliens were dropping the cows off in his backyard. All the ones that were supposed to be mutilated and everything else. So, again, the two of them were kind of close. And then Peter Moon got involved with the whole story and helped, right, and all that. But I'm having problems with him as well right now. Ego becomes a serious problem in the UFO world, in the spiritual world, in any world where power comes into play or money. Look at Musk, Gates, people like that. And the other person I call Bosco. So look what's going down. Look what they're doing. I'm not going to get into that. Find out. Read the information that's out there. What's happening and what's going to happen with that alone. Never mind the UFO world. So now, okay, Stephen Greer was offered $2 billion. He didn't take it. Now he's still trying to get disclosure out there mainstream, which it's not even out there. There's no evidence other than a Tic Tac. In 25, 30 years, the biggest information the world has received was Tic Tacs. In the United States. Other countries, it's different. Putin talked about it. Putin said he worked with 27 alien races, and 2 of them want to destroy the planet. He said that on TV, public TV, months before Trump was elected. He even said, I want you to tell the truth about 9/11 and what the United States is doing with aliens. Why would he say that, Trump? All right, just skip that by. Don't believe it. You don't have to. But getting back to Stephen Greer. Now, he has a lot of money. And I guess he's still asking for more money. He charges more money for everything. You know, spiritual people, aware people don't need to charge lots of money for anything. But here's the thing. He's taking groups of people and bringing them out to the mountains, making them do meditation, and then talk to aliens. All right? And his viewpoint, all aliens are good. A lot of people in the UFO world, all aliens are good. Then you get the people say, well, there's good and bad in everything. No, there's not good and bad in everything. You are what you are. A bear's a bear. A tiger's a tiger. Humans are human. Aliens are aliens. It's not like good and bad. They have an agenda. Every creature that lives has a specific agenda to eat and survive. Then what it does with that is different. How many families, children, people, and things like that. but it's to survive and eat. And aliens are no different. If they drive a ship, they eat food. All right. If they come into your house, they go into sky by energy. It's a different entity. All right. But we're not going to talk about that yet. So we're talking about aliens that have a body that can be killed. All right. An angel can't be killed. Your soul can't be killed. Your body can be. So aliens have a body and they need to eat. And the number one thing for any active creature with a brain needs to figure out where they're going to get the food, how they're going to get the food, and things like that. And that's the number one concern. Then being happy, feeling good, and all those other words come into play later. Hold on, let me just click on this. I didn't even do it. Greetings, everybody coming into the chat room. Send this link to everybody you know. Put it out there. Put it on a lot of people's sites, please. I'm trying to get this truth out there, and it seems like nobody wants to hear it because they're afraid to. The truth is fear. And I tell people there's nothing to be afraid of on this planet. The only thing you should be afraid of is the thing that most people don't even want to believe in anymore, and that's called God. All right? Why? Well, it's stupid. It's this. It does that. It tells us to do this, and let the world become the way it is. All right, people. Kindergarten is what kindergarten is. College is what college is. You think kindergarten and college are the same? They teach the same? No, they don't. You're in hell, people. Hell. Hell. Right? And this is what you get in hell. You don't get roses put on your table every day. You don't get gold bricks stuck in your mailbox every day. You work hard, you suffer, you got pain and things like that because it's called working out what you are. Now, I don't want to get too displaced from everything, but why are you here? There's only one reason. And guess what? Everybody has the same reason. Not what I can conceive and compile and put all these notes together to make me be, I'm supposed to be a doctor, I'm supposed to be a healer, I'm supposed to be saving the planet. You can't save the planet. All these spiritual people came and went. They didn't do anything for the planet. Just put more stuff into the files for people to read, to believe. But it did not help. Oh, and prayer, did that ever help mankind move forward spiritually in any way? Any country, did prayer ever help them? Now, the first religion was Hinduism, and they used Kundalini energy and Kama Sutra and all those words. They're all sexual. The deities that they work with was sexual. Nothing about God, but they were called gods. Anything with power was considered God. Now, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm not trying to get too religious today, but what is the definition of God? Read any dictionary, and what they'll say, super powerful being. But super powerful? How do you know that? What do you know about that? How can you prove anything you're saying about it? Most people have no clue, except that it's powerful and it watches over us and it loves us because we were told so. All right. Now, do you think God created the problems on this planet? How about we were created to be evil from alien races? I know that, and this is what I can tell you from my direct experience. I'm aware of all my past lives. Back to and one past it of Atlantis. Atlantis was the only time planet Earth was the Garden of Eden. It was the Garden of Eden. It wasn't Adam and Eve. It was 9 races here, all different colored races. And they all didn't come from the same seed, same asteroid, same meteorite, comet, whatever you want to say, that crashed into the Earth. No, we weren't hatched on planet Earth either. All right, we weren't hatched from one person either. The Bible is a story of people. Who wrote Adam and Eve's story? Did Adam know how to write and tell stories? Did Eve? Could they write? Who did they tell their stories to? Who were they having sex with? Oh, well, they had sex with who? Other families, other people? Where did they come from? I don't want to get into religion because the truth in the Bible is very limited. I was going to become a preacher when I was 20, and I read the Bible multiple times from cover to cover. And I realized all the lies and the little bit of truth that's in it, because when I became aware of my lives, and the most important, I had 2 important lives out of all of mine, and I had many. One was when I was in Atlantis. and 2 when I was alive with Jesus. I was a female. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. Now, something that history doesn't talk about, religion doesn't talk about. Mary Magdalene, to me, and through all my lives and what I saw, was the most spiritual person to ever walk this planet. Why am I saying that? Because she had to teach Jesus' disciples what they didn't know yet. And half of them couldn't see Jesus unless she taught them how to do it. Now, somebody like Peter, who was one of his closer disciples, didn't want to listen to a woman. He wasn't ever going to see Jesus either. Now, Paul never actually saw Jesus as well. Paul saw Jesus in a vision. So that's trying to say, like, if I had a vision right now and I told you it, it would be stupid and dumb and not real. But since Paul said it, it was real and right. All right. Just to show you how religions and teachings and people think old teachings are important and real. You think men were different in those days? They were spiritually intelligent? Were they really? They were working with aliens. When Atlantis was destroyed, they were taught. That's the only thing the Anunnaki did for us. They did not make us, did not create us. They couldn't. They're not God. But what they did do is reprogram us, most people, to kill, to eat animals, to sacrifice, and keep women in a place of lower than they are. Not because he popped out of somebody's ribs and became another person. No, that's a story. Even the Pope said Adam and Eve is a fake story. The Pope said that. Do you follow Christianity? Do you follow the Catholic religion? The popes did lots of things. Considering Peter was the first pope, I guess, if you want to classify it. And they were all getting married, and they were all married, and they can't do it now. So, it gets twisted every time it gets told, like, the story when you pass a story around a room, what it turns into by the time it gets to the end of the circle. You think it's any different when a person rewrites something? Well, I don't like that word. I don't like these words. I'm going to create a new word for that. I got my own words as well. I'm a reincarnatiate, meaning I'm aware of reincarnating again and why. All right, reincarnating just means you're coming back. All right, without any awareness. And most people, most people have no awareness of why they're here or what they went through before they got here. This is the first time on this reality where you took a body, a physical body. And when you go to the next world, what people call heaven is called the astral plane. You're in your astro body. Now, beings of the astral world can come here. Are they beneficial to this world? Not really. All right. Now, the ones that don't get to the astral plane become ghosts and spirits stuck here. And most of them are usually stuck here because they have no faith, no truth, no awareness, and they have nothing to follow, so they have no way to get to the next realm. All right, not God or souls. I mean, angels don't have to come down and take everybody. Do you believe that? Go like all these. Try to keep up with me. I go in circles. Now, all these shows on TV, all the ghost. Watch them. Watch them for a couple weeks. They're talking to the ghosts. They're seeing the energy. They're seeing them walk around the room. They're seeing the spirits and the energy of them as well. And a lot of the people that are doing it run out of the room. And I don't want to get into that. I'll talk about that later if I get time to. But there's so much stuff coming out, meaning out of the idea that they're not real to reality. Meaning these creatures they're filming everywhere on the planet, walking around in the rooms and things like that. I mean, they're calling them all kinds of Jersey Devil, the Men in Black and the Night Shadows, the Hat People. I mean, there's all these names and giving these things that people are seeing. All right. Is it all one programmed idea? No. All right. When people get involved with this stuff, and I call it stuff, well, saying we're all spokes of a wheel, that's like saying, no, we're not spokes of a wheel. Nobody here in general, and I'll say it this way. There's 8 billion people on the planet. How many people have a clue how to get out of this body and get into the astral plane? Out of 8 billion, what percentage? Less than 1%? Oh no, they all think they're going to go to heaven. That's not anything. That's just a thought. Do they know how to get out of their body? Can they prove it to themselves at least? Whatever you learn, whatever you accept, whatever your so-called truth is, you have to be able to prove it to yourself. Not the world, not everybody else. I was always called crazy all my life. I mean, I saw my first ship and it was coming to abduct my brother when I was 6. I saw my first alien in my house at 12. So yeah, it's been, when I said anything, oh, don't say that, don't talk about that. Oh, even when I was working for the phone company, they all knew I was into UFOs. And once in a while, I'd bring pictures in to show them and everything. I was going to court against New Jersey Bell. And they were saying I was hurt on a ship, on top of it all, believe it or not. Because if they could say that, and if they proved that in court, they wouldn't have to pay for my court case and pay me. But after 2 years, they dismissed the case. My lawyer retired. I got a new lawyer who said it's going to cost me $10,000 to keep the case going, and I will not win. I didn't have money. I couldn't afford another lawyer, and I couldn't afford to pay him either. So the case was dropped. But my lawyer, for the 2 years, said, we got a case. You're going to win a lot of money. Don't worry about it. There's no way they can beat this. All right. I mean, they brought a video of me on TV talking about aliens and put it on. And they say, see, he was on the ship and he got hurt. No, I didn't say that. I made a joke on a TV show. But again, they have the top lawyers in the United States, and they still, I feel, they paid my lawyer off. He retired. And then this new lawyer that called me wasn't willing to take the case. My lawyer wasn't charging me a penny. And suddenly he wanted $10,000 up front. And then he told me I wasn't going to win the case. Why would you ask for that? And why would a lawyer tell you that? All right. They were all paid off. And the case disappeared. But in the interim, the UFO stuff around me was still going on. I was with Sergeant 18, and we were still seeing ships and creatures and entities, all this weird stuff. Now, just people, just so you know, I have some pictures, but we got thousands that he copyrighted. And he has all the copyrights for all those pictures. And I don't know what's going on with that. He was sick. He was going to die. He was going to give me all the pictures. Then all of a sudden, he's got lots of money. It came to him about 2 years ago. And we kind of separated. But he's not doing UFO stuff right now. And I'm waiting for him to come back out. I mean, his last words were 2036, Lucifer's going to come down, and so is Jesus, and Jesus is going to kill Lucifer. Well, that's his story. That's his final words before he kind of like disappeared from the internet. He was a UFO person. I was a spiritual person. All through the years we worked together. And near the end, he said he met with Jesus, and he was told, and suddenly his whole viewpoint shifted. He bought a big statue of Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of Jesus, put in the back of him when he was doing the show. And he claimed a lot of things. But he still claimed the UFO stuff. He claimed his name was Sergeant 18 because he was the captain of a ship, a UFO ship. He was the 18th captain of this ship. So another woman who died, Anna Hayes, she changed her name to a real weird name, but she came to the house and she walked in the yard and goes, whose ship's up there? And he goes, oh, that's my ship. So they were at the same wavelength, same program. But in the interim, all right, we did shoot more things than anybody else. And when we lectured, we showed pictures and showed more pictures and showed more pictures. Just about every kind of size, shape, and form of a ship that you could imagine. So, and now what are they dealing with? 2022? Tic Tacs. Sure, there's videos and pictures of ships everywhere coming out and ships crashing. It has to explode. It will explode, people. I say not more than a year from now, it's going to be wide open. Even Bigfoot's going to be out there mainstream. I was a foot away from one. And they're real people. All right. And they didn't work with the native people. They didn't help the native people. They didn't help anybody. I was friends with, I'm not going to say his name, but he claims to like the #1 Bigfoot person. He said he worked with them and all that for 40 years. Married a woman, and she's working with him now too, and saying they're healing and doing healing work and all that. But the world's in the worst condition we have ever been in. So if you think somebody's helping us, help us what? Become ignorant? Become stupid? Everything, I mean, I could go into the food, the air, the water. Everything's contaminated, people. You know that. And we're getting better? No. Crime, abuse, rape, and all those words are at the highest level ever. And it's not getting better because of the situation with money. So, and then we got, I don't want to get into details with Mr. Gates, what he's doing, but we're going to be eating cricket food, cricket burgers, and that's for real, people. They got factories making cricket burgers right now, and they're trying to eliminate all cow farms in the United States. I mean, Gates came out and said cow farts are going to make the world destroy our ozone and all that. Another story. Now, when they told you that Freon, when they changed Freon and changed the price of it, DuPont was actually working with Nikola Tesla up in New Jersey. But during that time frame, Freon is heavier than air, people. I work with scientists many all along the way. It's heavier than air, so it doesn't rise up into the ozone and destroy it. So, and then the styrofoam cups and the styrofoam plates and everything, this is destroying it, and that's destroying it. But they never talked about the real reasons. When Mr. Gore came out, he was paid by a multimillionaire to come out with the word. What did he come out with, people? Do you know what he said? Global warming. All right, what was creating it? Oh, they showed you this melting and that and this and that. But they didn't tell you why. All right, and there's reasons, people. There's reasons for everything that happens. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not a real reason. Well, there's not a real reason. Well, nobody knows God. Nobody knows what heaven is. Nobody. I went to my minister when I was 14. What's God look like? Well, nobody knows. I said, what's heaven look like? Well, nobody knows. I said, what are you doing him? Nobody knows. Nobody knows nothing. So why would I want to follow a religion that knows nothing? And I stopped being a Protestant at 14. I studied 14 religions after that, all pointing to the fact that they don't know anything about a real God. Not what somebody said, oh, God loves us and protects us. Really? Jesus did not come here for what they said in the Bible. Read the other Gospels. Read Thomas's Gospel. Read Mary Magdalene's Gospel. Read Judas's Gospel. They're different. They got different stories and different things happening. Well, I was there too, so that makes it a lot more important to me. All right, I'm gonna go into that at the end because I want to try to keep going along with this part of the UFO thing. So now you go to a UFO conference. There's a new word in the UFO world, and it's not abductees. And the word has been translated and twisted and molded into a word called experiences. And what it means is usually it's a good experience, meaning they were in their room and they were taken on a ship and they were taken around the universe and showed and told and all this stuff. Not one person, except one, I'll mention his name, not one person has anything to prove anything they're talking about. Why is that? If I go, here's my deal. I have an open deal with any alien race. I said, you want something from me, all right? I will give you whatever you want, except my soul, but you can have something from me, but you gotta give me something back. Period. Whatever. Something real. And they can't do that, and they won't. But I'm protected. I don't want to go into that. I'm protected from aliens. They can't abduct me. And you know why? I don't want to boast or brag or anything. There's a simple word. And it has to do with God. And that's all I'm going to say. So when you talk about being abducted, who are they abducting? Rich people, poor people, in between? They're abducting everybody. I know 125 doctors and lawyers that have a meeting twice a year that have all been abducted. And they don't know what's going on. They know the effects of being abducted. Some are good, most of them are bad. And some people say they're a little more psychic and things like that. But again, where's the proof, people, of something good at any level? When every experience, they're having these meetings, that's all the experiences get together. I remember the first one when we were going to have an experience a meeting. It was on a show that had multiple speakers on it that I was on. And this woman goes, we're going to have the Flatheads speak to us. The Flatheads? Who are the Flatheads? or well, they were a race and stuff like that. Before the conference came about, I got in touch with the person running the conference, and I said, you are not going to have a person speaking about that because it's a lie. And then he checked into it and everything, and it was kind of separated and said it wasn't a part of the meeting. They could go to the meeting, this group, after the conference. But it's how it started. Then every month after that, every other conference, I'm an experiencer. And they came in my room and they took me up and it's all good stuff. Stephen Greer comes out, there's no bad aliens. They're all good. They're all going to help us. He said, I didn't say, we need to stop the government, eliminate the government, and let aliens run our world. Let aliens run our world. If they could, they would. They would be, and they are already. So do they need Stephen Greer's permission to do it? All right. There's so much truth. And do I know more than everybody? Probably I do. And not because I want to. And not because I work for the government, because I never did. I was the lucky person or the unlucky person that was always stuck where it happened. Where things happened. I was in Jersey. When they flooded the reservoir, when they freaking called the ships in and they were coming into the reservoir every day for 9 months straight, and nobody knows what they were doing, but they went right through the ice inside, and the army was stationed around it. You don't hear that story much. The Montauk Project, you heard about the chair. They put them in there and they push them out of their bodies and stuff like that. I know 3 people that sat in the chair. They're not super beings. They're not super powerful. I mean, they're intelligent. Well, I thought they were. One of them, I don't think so anymore. But it didn't do anything outrageous, which it was supposed to have done, like putting these people in dimensions and all that. Now, when the Philadelphia experiment happened, Al Bielek was the only one that really went back in time and came back to this present time. And I was friends with him. I'm not going to go into that whole story because it's a separate story within itself, but something was changed when he went back. And the government decided they needed to change it before it changes the reality of the present. And he was offered $4 million to go back in time. But I will tell you this, when I saw him, he looked like he was about 80 years old. White skin, his eyes are like that, his hair was white, and he could barely talk. And then when I saw him 6 months later, his skin was pink, his hair was black, his eyes were wide open, and it looked like he was super intelligent. So did he take it? Did he go back in time? I know he did. Sergeant 18 wanted to go back with him. And he said, no, I can't bring anybody back with me. But he goes, I'll go. I want to go back. I'll go back with you. You know, everybody wants to get on a ship. Everybody wants to do these things. Do they know what happens when you do? Do you know what happens when you meet an alien? For real? Every thought you have in your reality changes. Seriously, people. Now there's a race that you never heard of, saw of, that nobody talks about. That's real. Real beyond your wild imagination dreams. But then if you get abducted, it becomes worse. Not that you can remember much, because most people, I'm not going to go into that story either. That's another long story UFO people don't get into. How you're programmed not to remember what happened. When Truman said that you abduct people when they made deals, they can't remember what happened. And we didn't for about 25 years. Barney Hill, when that story came out, you know, hypnosis is only as good as the person that does it. And they would hypnotize, and for a word, people of what really happened. But that was a black and white couple who was actually not like really accepted at that time. For them to come out and say that it's like starting a war against the world. You don't like us, but we're going to tell you we've been abducted by aliens. Oh, really? 2 people that shouldn't be married and all this, and they're talking about being with aliens. So it was a really hard thing for them to do. And they tried, and they did what they could. But that's only one story. Because there was thousands and thousands of people being abducted around the world all the time then. I'm not going to go into the numbers and what the government allowed and all those things. I had a friend in MJ-12, and I got a lot of inside information then. he's dead. So I can say whatever I want because they can't kill him. They can only kill me. But again, he was in that. And the last thing that was supposed to happen, we were supposed to get honey that would cure any sickness or disease on this planet. Do you remember the original movie X-Files, why it was all about bees and honey and all that? Because that was based on the truth, people. Seriously. But people don't want to look for the truth in whatever they're watching. There's always a bit of truth because it gets in there. Whether people know what it is or not, they accidentally put it in there, don't know how to filter it out, or don't know what the truth is, so they can't take it out. I lost my YouTube show for a month. I lost LinkedIn permanently. You know, people that analyze what I say, do they know God? Do they know death? Do they know reincarnation? Do they know any of those words? Do they know Bigfoot? Do they know MJ12, what it even means? You know what men in black are? All these things, they have no clue. So if I say something about how could they judge it and say, well, that's real or that's not? That's against our code. What's your code? Keeping lies out there so nobody can find whatever is true? It's sad, people. I'm dealing with multiple people. None of them, not one of them, will have an honest debate. I'm dealing with somebody online right now who claims to be the most spiritual person. He claims he's God. He channels everybody's energy. All this. He writes letters back to me. He's the only one that at least writes back to me, claiming and saying all this bull that he keeps saying. I should put his link up there and let everybody listen to what he says. But you might think he's God, and you might follow him. See, people, you know, it takes one person to cause a chain of events to shift. Because if a person goes to a person that claims to be a psychic, and he goes, wham, you're healed. I go, wow, I'm healed. I feel it. It goes right now. He's a healer. He touched me and I'm healed. Another person, let me go in there. His attention and his energy and everything's already high, and he is accepting anything that happens. Bam, he gets it in. I think I feel it too. I must be healed too. And then suddenly everybody believes it. It's that simple. That's how a chain reaction happens. And then it spreads. The one guy that just stares at people, he doesn't move, doesn't talk to anybody outside of his home. Never did. Well, for years. And he goes around just staring at people. And they pay money, buy his staring video and things like that. But he doesn't do anything. And he can't prove a thing. But people are saying they're getting healed and this. You know, the word healing is not real. Okay? Not in our reality. The word ascension, which is abused every which way, nobody here goes to ascension. You go ascending into heaven or the astral plane. You don't go to ascension to get into the astral plane. I'll tell you, I was in multiple lifetimes and many, I'm talking over hundreds, but I can tell you this. Ascension means going into the spiritual place in the astral plane and becoming a spiritual entity. Meaning you become aware of 32 psychic abilities. Nobody can go there now unless they go to ascension. And there's only one way to go through it. And I'm not going to tell you it. But I did study the Emerald Tablets with a medicine woman who taught me a spiritual exercise to do to go through it. She was in an Aborigine tribe in the middle of a jungle and brought into a cave and all that, where she was shown it. And she taught it. She passed away around Christmas time. I was with her for 26 years. But again, the Emerald Tablets is probably the most realist writing. I'm not saying how perfect it was, because no soul anywhere in this realm could write perfect, assuming what they feel and go through and their emotions and everything else. But when I went through that, all right, I was a high priest when I was 16 years old. I learned most of the psychic abilities. I proved it to myself. And I was with a created, and I got the 13 people in my covenant to see and do and be part of it. But I was going through things, and I realized, why would I want to work with a lower level than God? And I said, it's over. That morning, I got in my car. I was driving up my block and smashed it into another car that was rolling down the hill right into my car. My car was about a foot long in the front. I got out of the car with a split lip. Everything we had disappeared. the books and writing and blood and all that, everything just disappeared. But I knew it was over. All right. I still remained the high priest, though. I didn't give that whole thing up at that point because, like I said, the 32 psychic abilities, I had 30 under my belt and I wanted 2 more, which I never got. And the 2 I wanted. And the psychic abilities range from, you name it, levitation, clairvoyancy, remote viewing, all those words, each one of them is a part of it. And when you become essentially a spiritual being, they're all part of your reality. Atlantis, everybody was. You couldn't kill. There was no such thing as killing, rape, and all those words. You can see without talking what people think and feel. You knew what was going on. So you couldn't lie to a person. It was incredibly called the Garden of Eden. All right. Then when the Anunnaki, reptilians, and everybody else came down here, we can't let them be like that. And they destroyed Atlantis, and then they created the idea of killing, which didn't exist to humans. All right. I don't want to go into that, but it's real, people, and it happened. And we became massive killers, and we still are today. And that's sickening. You'd think in 100 years, 1,000 years, you would change a little. In 100,000 years, you'd think things would change greatly. But aliens have been here such a long time, and all the other races that came and went. And they have been. And there's not one of them here to tell or help or show or anything? Why is that, people? You need to look at what these ancient alien people say and talk about over and over. Well, they believe this. Alien UFO speakers believe this. So what? Who cares what anybody believes in? Where is the proof? We got an artifact. Oh, this must have been an alien ship when they talked about the chariot in the Bible? Well, might have been. Jesus talked about aliens, people. I'm sure you don't know that either. But he said, don't follow him. He said a lot of things that weren't put in the Bible. I told you, I was aware I was a female in that lifetime. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. And Jesus did a lot of miracles, but he didn't do all of them. He didn't have to, or he didn't want to. And people, he was real. He was not an alien. And his physical body died. He didn't go to India. Thomas went to India. All right, and was teaching Jesus' teachings. And I'm sure they thought he was Jesus because there was no name tags and carbon copies of the registration, license, and all those kind of words. They didn't exist. It was your name. All right. So when he went to India, he was probably accepted as Jesus. Now Mary Magdalene went to France. And now, people, I haven't learned this. I wish I learned it 10 years ago. Mary Magdalene's skull's in a temple. And I don't know if you can see it on my altar. If you blow that picture up, you'll see it. All right. It's a skull, and it's in this altar thing, and they got gold around it and everything. But they say it's probably the most spiritual artifact on the planet. And they even believe that they took it out of there, it could probably heal people. All right. Now, kind of like what they thought about the Ark of the Covenant. I'm not going to into that. I mean, I've been writing a whole thing about the Ark of the Covenant because the Saharaman claims he has one. The real Ark of the Covenant. And he says the government has one. And he was grubbing millions of dollars so he could link his with the other one so he could change the vibration of the planet. Does he really believe he's God? Sad, but he probably does. You know, people, when power and money come their way, they change. Jesus said it many times, over and over. He said it 3 times in the Bible even, but he meant it. Money changes everything. Cyndi Lauper wrote that song. It does. Don't say it doesn't. Every rich person's kind of different about reality when they have it. Now, there's one person I'm trying to get in touch with who's probably going to be the youngest multi-billionaire on the, and he's given a lot of his money away all the time. Because I don't like money, but he keeps making it. He found a system that works. He makes millions of dollars every weekend. But it had to do with Bitcoin and all those things, which is not real money, really. But again, he found how to use the system. But His idea is to help charities and help this and help that, which is incredible. All right. I mean, I would say he's probably the most spiritual person I know on this planet right now. Not just giving a percentage to get his tax write-off and all those kind of things. Not like all these people in power and government and all that other things. People, we're in a serious place on this planet. And these people that are taking our power away, people are giving it to them. We don't have free rights in the United States, people. Freedom of speech, that's the last thing we have. Imagine that, freedom of speech. What could we say? I could say a lot of things that I can't say. But I don't know what the things are that I can't say yet until I get booted off the air. And every time I do, I don't know what I said. I have to go over and say, well, what word did they like? I did say something about rich people, which might have been something that aggravated them. Because LinkedIn is it's $50 a month for that site. And it's mostly business people. So again, but everybody knows the world's run by rich people, not poor people. The Constitution people, not that it has anything to do with UFOs or aliens or anything like that, was created by rich people. They didn't allow poor people to vote. It was created for the rich people, not the poor people. And this whole thing about guns, why were people allowed to carry guns? To shoot native people. Oh, well, it's to protect my land from native people. Well, if they didn't kill so many, they wouldn't be coming back to try to kill them. So here's the thing. 50 million native people were killed in 400 years. Now, the cowboy segment, which was guns, I mean, there was a movie about cowboys and aliens, which was a really funny, cool movie. But the cowboy days, I'm trying to think exactly how many years it lasted. It wasn't that long. I think it was less than about 80 years. Not sure. Check it out, find out. But it didn't last that long, but everybody was around, going around, shooting each other. After that, you'd think they would have said, hey, we can't let people carry guns. But no, let everybody carry guns. It's their right. To what? Shoot who? For what? We don't have the right to protect our house. If somebody comes in your house, you kill them, you're going to go to jail. And you're going to go to court for a year and stuff. You don't have freedom to do what you want. Never mind in your own house. The government can come in your house anytime they want. They can take everything away from you when they decide to. So what freedom do you think you have? And what rights do you think you have? Zero. So when we talk about aliens coming here, what would they do for us? Think about it. What did they ever do for us? The only thing that was documented was a certain time frame where all the nuclear reactors on ships and places were shut down for an hour. For an hour. Remember the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still? Well, they shut everything down, and then they said, okay, you either do this or the world's going to be destroyed. But when they shut the nuclear powers down and things like that, what did it really accomplish? Do we believe in aliens now? No. It didn't change that part of it. But if they were here, they could shut us down. And everybody always says, if aliens were bad, they would kill us. Why? Do you have a farm? Do you ever work on a farm? You got cows, horses, ducks, geese, whatever, any kind of creatures that are around there and stuff. Do you kill them all? You kill the ones you want to eat, and you keep the other ones to breed. So what do you think? Anything's different. The Greys proved that straight out. So do the reptilians. Well, I'm not going to get into I don't want to get into the story about the mantis. I'm going through a real live debate with that right now. But again, people, there's nothing good in hell. It's all a game to the souls until they realize they need to get out of it. It's just like the Matrix. That's what it is. It is the Matrix. Matrix was created out of reality. And you're stuck in it until you decide to get out of it. Science will stay in it because they're trying to see what makes the Matrix work, which they will never find out. And electrons, magnetic fields, gravitational fields. Does it help explain God? Life? Birth? Death? Anything? No. People, you want to listen to science. I don't. I'm not going to talk about the virus. I can't talk about drugs. Can't talk about all those things either. But what's happening to the planet, people? Why? Why do you think all this is going down? Uh, I'm going to stick with the aliens. I want to stick with what's happening everywhere else on the planet because we got horrible things going on with everything: our water, our food, our air, you name it. But what's going on with people that get abducted? I do a show every Tuesday. Please, you want to hear a woman that's been abducted most of her life? All right, it's not that, it's incredibly horrible. She's radioactive, people, and she's radioactive in a way that's not possible. Check out my show, please. And on top of that, her dog died of radiation poisoning months ago. Had radiation in its bones. All right, radiation is something that never goes away. Well, maybe 100 years, 150 years, it diminishes. But Noble, you know that's still contaminated and everything around it and all that. The number of people that died. You know, we play with things we don't know much about, and then we think we know all about it when we create something with it. The government has things that run on radiation. And I was living next door to a person that worked for a government agency that creates things that run on radiation, like lights that stay lit forever and things like that. Well, how do you think the satellites run? A little battery that can burn out? What do you think runs all these things that run for kind of forever? All right. Where technology was given to us, we didn't go to school and come out. Tesla did not go to college and come out, I know how to make 200 things and make 200 things. Einstein also put in his personal notes he worked with an alien race. But here's the thing. They both work with a different race. I can't find out by any means which race each one worked with. But Einstein's alien friends, whoever he worked with, were playing with him. Einstein was stealing stuff from other countries, first off. And then when these aliens started programming him with things, maybe he did twist them together, and that's why they weren't true. He said we can't go backwards and forward in time, which we can do. We can't go faster than the speed of light, which we can do. He said nothing could be bigger than a certain size object, which we discovered 10, 15 years ago. This big object in space that completely blows that theory away. So, you know, Einstein didn't do anything beneficial except program us to a lot of ideas. Tesla came out with 200 inventions. 50 of them were weapons that the government took. 50. The rest of them went back to his country and they opened up a Tesla museum. Now, those weapons became what's controlling the planet right now. And it will destroy the planet. All right, I'm not going to go into all those things. Check out directed energy weapons. Who's using them, where they're using them, and why. I'm not going to tell you. Check it out. All right, why they're doing things like that inside the United States. Why the things that are happening. Global warming. Do you know why it's happening? I can't tell you right now. But it's happening for multiple reasons that are solid and fixed. Not like, well, I'm going to make them up and say, well, maybe this, maybe birds all crash into each other when they die because they're stupid? Because a firecracker went off? Really? I live in Jersey and I watch things like that happening. And the excuses for like millions of fish just jumping out of the river and dying. Why? All these things that happen. Well, it's just a freak and must have been this. Now, don't forget, science explains all the things that Moses did and how each one of them happened. All right. So they're trying to say it wasn't his magic staff that did it all. It was nature. But why did they all happen in a certain time frame and everything else? I mean, there's a combination of both. God doesn't come down with his hand and shake people and do things like that. God doesn't have to. Angels don't do it either. People, I do workshops on angels, God, deities, reincarnation, birth, all those things. But it all comes to the idea of why are you here? Aliens don't know why they're here, and that's why they're coming here. We are the most spiritual race in this realm, in the physical reality. All right. Not meaning much because we're still in hell. And nobody, okay, wants to face the truth. Now, what's eternal mean to you? Aliens have like what? They live 150 years or 500 years up to, I mean, they said, well, back in Moses' day, everybody lived old. Everybody didn't live old in those days. They didn't. All right. You can believe what you want. And history has no proof of anything. It's only an idea of ash and the carbon dating and things like that. What we assume, we don't know when specific things happened. And that's a fact. They'll tell you this, and then they say, well, dinosaurs and humans were living together. How's that possible? Think about it. How was it possible? Because their time frame that they use is wrong. When did the dinosaurs die out? When were they here? When did they come here? They say the roach is the oldest creature on the planet. How do they know that? If you have a sample of something, how can you tell what that is compared to something that doesn't exist, meaning in the future or in the extreme past? Now, like when they get blood supposedly from Bigfoot and they try to measure it, all right, who do they compare it to? All the blood that they have. The hair they get, they compare it to all the hair they have. This is like a goat's hair. So it's a goat. It's a goat. I saw it. It was 8 feet tall. It was a goat. I mean, when they come up with their theories, everything they do is a theory, people, because their theories change every 10, 15 years. Eggs are good. Eggs are bad. Eggs are this. Eggs are that. This is good. This is bad. I mean, it changes all the time because one scientist tries to prove something else. When they put fluoride in the water, they had to pay multiple scientists to say that it was good for us. Our teeth wasn't good for your body because fluoride's a poison. And they had it because of World War II. And they had to get rid of all the barrels of fluoride because there was no legal place for them to dump it. So what do you do when you got something you can't get rid of? Make it useful somehow. Get these doctors to say, hey, it's good for this, and then now you can take it. And they did, until they ran out of it. They ran out of all the fluoride they had from World War II. When you make bullets and all that it produced fluoride. So now they got all the fluorides gone, so now they don't have to sell it and push it on anybody. And if you notice, toothpaste and mouthwashes say now no fluoride. Well, do we need it? And chlorine, fluoride, chlorofluorocarbons. Guess what? That's what we were putting in our bodies. So people, it's amazing what we do. It's amazing how we don't listen and we don't look at what we really do. Aliens watch us like a hawk. But they're guiding us in a lot of ways, people. And it's not good. It will never be good. Staying in hell is not what Jesus taught about. But when you got somebody like Bazio, I can't even say his name, I never can. But he said he's paying all these top scientists to work on a formula to keep us here forever. Wow, why would I want to stay on this planet forever? I mean, would you have to stay with your wife forever? Would you have to stay with your children and all that? Think about it. Or will you see them all die? Unless you all take the same pill, it's not going to work for everybody. So the people, I mean, the pill for hepatitis 3 is what, $70,000. My partner was really sick and had to go on it. But it's $1,000 a pill, people. $1,000 a pill. So if you wouldn't live forever, what do you think they're going to charge for that pill? Depending on how many pills you got to take. All the research and all the money is being spent to create the idea and create it. And that's what you have to pay for if you want to take that pill. So, the medical world, I don't want to get into it. I'll probably lose my show if I do. But it's not the best place to put focus. You're going to die. You're going to die within 125 years as of now. All right? Meaning, do you want to live to your 100? You think all your kids and your family are going to be happy when you're 100 years old? I don't know how old you are. If you're 80, I'm going to be 70. But I mean, if you're like 45, You're going to be seeing your children and family dying? Is that what you want? People, look at reality. And you know what? When you look at reality, look at the timeline. Look at yourself on the timeline. What's going to happen to you? If you're a multimillionaire, you're probably not going to care at all because you know, I'm okay. I could pay for everything for the next 1,000 years. But if you're a poor person and you're thinking about that, and if Mr. Musk eliminates all useless jobs, meaning plumbers, caretakers, and all these little things that people do to make money. I mean, ShopRite and all those places will be stocked by robots. You don't have a cashier, you just go to the computer. I mean, there'll be a few people in there checking things and everything. What happens when everything's completely automized and you can't do anything with a real person? You get rid of them. So, people, are you prepared for global warming? Are you prepared for AI? All right. I want to talk about two things before AI. There's a movie. It's on the internet right now on the History Channel Plus. It's called The Geostorm. Watch it. Oh, it really bothered me. Because you know why? It's so close to the truth. Truth always hurts. It's not a positive, pleasurable thing. All right? But it shows you what's going to happen. You need to watch the movie. All right? The effects are incredible. I mean, they can make you believe anything's real now, which is why the UFO world's having such a hard time proving anything. But watch it. Seriously. Watch what could happen in the near future. And that's without alien intervention. All right? That's human invention and what we're going to do. But then with artificial intelligence, which is part of that movie, where it's going. Now, Tesla's cars had, I think, 40 accidents. And they said if humans drove them, it would be 400 accidents. So they're making artificial intelligence better no matter what you hear, see, or what happens. Because they're not going to let human race survive the way it is. So they're going to create their theories and their ideas and then start eliminating people. Pull up UN Agenda 21-30. They're in stage 4. And 193 countries agreed on that years ago. So is that real? Of course it is, people. But it's not like publicized because rich people know what they're doing. All the underground cities. Do you know anything? Do you hear people talking about that anywhere? Why not? Do you know the underground city under Denver Airport? Do you know what Denver Airport really is? Read it, Behold the Pale Horse. He put a lot of information out about it. But sadly, I guess he became a drunk and couldn't deal with reality and died. But the truth is, it's a place for a reason. It's there for a reason. And I promise you, every rich person already has their little house down there already. Why? See, nobody talks about that. Why? You're going to pay taxes for this, but who's paying for all that? When they say they're going to give the Army and the U.S. government, or are going to give the space program $720 billion. Where's that money coming from, people? Think about it. Where's that money? Is there any real money anywhere? The idea of money and checks and all that became created because nobody wanted to carry a stagecoach with money, with gold in it. Because you're going to be attacked, and that's why it would say, hey, let's work out a better system so we don't have to move this gold around. And they don't. And do you know that there's no way to prove how much gold anybody has right now? How much gold does the United States really have? And let's not go to the Anunnaki came here to make us mine gold. We can make gold right now. It's more expensive to make it than what the value of it is when we make it. But if we have that technology, the aliens had to have it such a long time ago. So they would make gold. They wouldn't need slaves to dig gold. And why did all the cities, capitals, kings, queens, and castles always have all the gold in it. They want to go, well, just visit the king, take his money. They wouldn't need slaves to go out and start digging in the field. But I will tell you this, in Mexico, the diggers that are digging there right now, and in fact, they're finding thousands and thousands of artifacts of aliens, statues from little to big, and everything about it. So people, the history is engraved on these stones, and these little creatures and all these different things are being pulled out every day. And I have a friend that bought like probably a small museum of them, but they're incredible. I met one person who was at the UFO conference and had a bunch of them. Incredible carvings, but it was all pertaining to aliens, not humans. Why? Even if you don't believe in them, why would you carve thousands and thousands of these things and bury them? People, you're not ready for the truth, are you? You don't want to believe the truth, so you're going to believe the stupid lies that somebody says, and, oh, aliens are all good. If they weren't, they would be destroying us. No, they wouldn't. That's a more oxymoron statement, because they're not aware of the truth. They have no idea what God is, no idea what death is, no idea what reincarnation is. And the most important word is eternal. What does it mean? If you're an eternal being, what does that really mean? If you're not aware of any other lifetime, it's useless, people. Saying I lived 1 billion times without awareness of it, it's not real then. Awareness is what makes you a spiritual person. Total awareness means total awareness of who and what you are. You don't know who and what you are. You don't know why you're here. You don't know where you're going to go. So what do you know? Nothing. And is there anything you do in this lifetime that's going to help you understand that? The only thing I'm going to tell you, which I do on my other shows, is how to get out of your body. How to experience soul, what you are. What do you do when you do get out of your body? You're not free there either, people. Don't even get the idea. The word, I'm throwing this all at you, I'm sorry, but the silver cord. Shirley MacLaine did a movie, Out on a Limb. Watch it. It's a really boring, long movie, but it's the truth. The silver cord is what's attached to your soul, to your body. And basically, if you leave your body, it makes sure you come back into your body. But it's like a rubber band. It only stretches so far. You can't go into the next realm with the silver cord attached to your body, just so you know, people. Even though they'll, I go here, I go there. How'd you get rid of your silver cord? Oh, I don't have a silver cord. Why? Because you don't see it? You don't know it's there? It appears different to a lot of different people, but it is there 99.9% of the time until it gets removed or cut. And then to get into the next realm, people, that's what deities are. All right? I call them little gods. Jehovah, Satnam, okay, are little gods. I call them deities. All right? And they control what can go past them, meaning into the mental plane. The astral plane's not, I don't want to describe the astral plane. Someday I'll do just a show on that alone. Because you need to know what's going to happen if you get to stay there even. Most people don't do that. They reincarnate. And you're back here in the same stuff without any awareness of it. Does that sound like an eternal being? Somebody said I am, so I must be. Really? Somebody said God loves you and you're protected. You believe that too? Oh, yes, I'm protected. Bam, a tree falls on their head and kills them. Oh, I thought I was. Now they're an angel. No, they're not an angel. You don't become an angel because you die. All these ideas that people say and believe. Oh, my grandfather died, so he's watching over me. He's not an angel. He didn't become an angel because he died. He didn't become an alien because he died. But I will tell you this, and you don't have to believe it. And I know nobody on this planet will talk about it. Nobody. Aliens are reincarnating into humans because they need that awareness now. All right? And when they do, these people that say they were an alien and they were walking and all those words, because they're aware of that. I'm not trying to make this a statement bad. A lot of people that are unaware of their sex, male or female, is because you're male and female in multiple lifetimes. And you got both of those senses. And it's usually like whatever you're born into a male body or female body is what you have to deal with. But those other feelings and thoughts are still there. Until you learn to separate, to be whatever you think or what they tell you you are. And what's going to be worse when they clone us with aliens and animals and everything else now? What do you think you're going to be seeing walking around the planet in the next 10, 20 years? They're already here, people, but when they become public, I know they created super soldiers in New Jersey that are 8 feet tall. You don't see them walking around the street. You can't. They'd be like shot at. There'd be all kinds of things that people knew that they're walking around and they saw it. They wouldn't know what it was. The government didn't come out and say, well, we're going to have 8 spiritual beings, or not spiritual, 8 super soldiers walking around the city to make sure it stays safe. What? They don't say that, did they? Or do they? We're in a serious position right now. China wants to rule the world. They want to rule Mars. They want to rule the moon. Now, here's the other thing. If you watch online, there's videos of these multiple ships coming out of the sun. Seriously, people, I'm not making it up. I saw it myself, but don't try to do it with a normal camera and a new telescope without right filters. My telescope started burning up. But the ships coming out of the sun. They're coming out of the core of the sun. How do they do it? Well, they're not humans like we are. All right, and we base everything on what we are. We base size on ourselves. What if a little polycule this big is a whole alien race, and you can't even see them? What if an ant was a real alien race? Well, they're just a stupid ant. I mean, but what do they think? They will follow a queen. How? How do they listen to the queen? She's not talking to them directly. So, technology and dolphins communicate totally different than we do, and they got the exact same size brain as we do. See, people, all these things change the truth of what you're programmed to believe. We came from a monkey. Ridiculous idea. Totally sick and retarded. Sorry, wrong word. Ridiculous word. Wrong. It's not true at all. Where did aliens come from? How long were they here? Why are the pyramids here and nobody in them? Why are they all buried? Why are they all crumbled up? What kind of protection did they use? Oh, we believe it's for super what reason? Why would you build something like 30 feet high if a person's 2 inches high? How do we know what size? Well, we found skeletons of 18-foot beings. Right, so guess what? They're going to have a doorway 18 feet high if they want to build a house or a castle or a pyramid, whatever. Again, the Bible talks about the Enochs. And we killed the Enochs. The little people killed all the giants. That's why you don't see giants here anymore. Size is also part of ego. When you're bigger than people, I could do whatever I want with them. Not realizing there's always a weak spot. And that's how the giant David and Goliath, that story. But the whole book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible. So people, are you ready to look at any truth? Not what these UFO people believe. They believe things. I experienced many things from Atlantis. Incredible. And different lifetimes. When Jesus was alive, he was the only person that I saw could do the miracles in front of people. So what do you want to do? Believe the lies, believe the stories. Don't believe me. You need to experience yourself. You need to get out of your body. You need to recognize that you can leave your body. You need to realize you need to work with something to travel. Because getting out of your body, the silver cord helps you stay with that body. And they usually snap you right back into your body. But if you're with an angel or a guide, they'll take you. They don't need to, they can stretch that band as far as they want. They can take you to the astral plane or other things that you need to learn. Because you don't go from one place to another and not learn anything. If I dropped you off in the middle of a jungle in Africa, would you be able to figure out where you are, what to do, and how to get out of there? Without anything. Drop you like naked and afraid. Just drop you in there, plop, with nothing. Might not even be able to create a fire. So, we're coming to a really disastrous time. And it's not going to get better anytime soon. But are you ready to wake up, look at the facts, look at the truth, and really piece it together in your reality? Well, you might not ever have to deal with aliens. You might not ever have to deal with artificial intelligence. You might die tomorrow. Or what if you live another 25 years? Are you ready to see what's going to happen to this world? Do you want to bring 20 children into this world? 10? 5? 1? What do you think they're going to get? You in Hawaii, and the prices are escalating every day. People say, don't go to Walmart. Go to a regular store. It's $3 or $4, up to $3 or $4 more for one thing. So you buy 10 things in a market, you can buy for half the price if you go to Walmart. Even if you use gas to get there, you're still saving a lot of money. But that's only one thing. Here in Hawaii, I don't know how much you're going to see. Let me just take my camera. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see out my window. Hold on. I think the sun's hitting it too bright. Sorry. All right. See that? There's a platform. And there's little steps in the back. They go up, and I could stand equal to the height of my roof. All right. Which I do when I go out to look at the stars and ships and everything else. But it's been raining almost every single night for some unknown reason. If it's not raining, it's super cloudy. But I got a monocular. It's a singular binoculars. It's just one, but it's a camera, and it's also a night vision camera. I could look at the sky, even if it's slightly cloudy, I could see through the clouds. It's a lot harder to find any because you can't see anything, and you have to keep looking through this little bit of an area. But when it's clear, I go boom, boom, and film it just like that. I can film anything I see if I'm fast enough. And I have my camera on. So I filmed a lot of things. I don't put them up even because people say, well, it's not real, it's fake, it's this, that. I don't care. I know it's real. And if somebody's really important or something wants to know something or it's real, if the government came in here right now, go ahead, look at all my stuff, check it out. You should know. You should know what's out there that's not satellites, people. Satellites go. That's all they do. Straight line. They don't go bleep, bleep, bleep. They don't do things like that. They don't. Sorry, people. Again, all these things people are seeing. What size are they? How close are they? Realize the closer they are, they could look bigger. The farther they are, they look smaller. But what if they are small and they're really close? Like I said, we base size on what we perceive size as. Height, our height level, our height, our weight, and those things. What if a thing's this big and weighs 10,000 pounds? Oh, it's impossible. We base it on our program knowledge and how we assume it. All right. There's so many things happening, people, at every level that's beyond your imagination. Tune into my show. Watch it once on Tuesday with TJ. Not with TJ. With Tina Bird. All right. She's been abducted most of her life. We both bought a Geiger counter, and she's radioactive. And she was the highest in radiation the last time we did the show, which was Tuesday. Now, there's radiation coming from the sun really high right now. And I told her she could be a magnifier for it because she's already radioactive. But it's not solid. It doesn't just stay here. It gets high, it gets low, it gets high. Impossible. Radiation doesn't do that. Unless you're talking about CERN, CERN, when they turn it on, it's a deadly radiation. When they turn it off, it's not there. All right? But again, when you're talking about real radiation, when it's on something and it becomes like that's radioactive, it stays there. And it stays there for a long time. So if she was radioactive permanently, she would stay that way. But she has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. I tell people to watch the movie Silkwood to understand what she's actually going through. And the symptoms are you lose your teeth, you lose your hair, you lose your fingernails, you go unconscious, you pass out, and all these things. And she's going through them all. She's losing like a teeth or another tooth every other month. She's losing a fingernail. She was losing her hair. But I feel, and I told her straight out, the aliens are keeping her alive. And I mean, the government's not jumping on that. I don't know why. I don't know if I was the government, I'd really want to know why and what's happening to her. No scientist will admit that radiation can go up and down. Not in a free space or a situation. So there's multiple things that we talk about, show, and do on our show. Please, people, I'm not here to make money. Did I ask you for money? I mean, money helps a lot of things, but I'm not asking you for money. I mean, donations are cool. I mean, Tina wants to come to Hawaii. We want to do a big show here in Hawaii, which might happen if she doesn't get too sick or anything serious happen. I mean, this is the real world, people. It's not imaginary world. You have to base things you do on flight, getting off a plane, all those kind of things, and prices of hotels, renting cars, and all those words are beyond the normal person's price range. So, if you're interested, people, you can call me on Skype, Hawksblood11. I don't mind talking. I'd rather talk than type. I have dyslexia. I have a lot of things. Uh, uh, my mind and my everything. That's why I go circular, and that's why I don't stop talking if I don't want to. But again, I see things backwards, and I relate to things backwards as well. So again, so when I say I'm going around in circles, you might not be able to follow me. Try to. I try to keep an eye on it the best I can. But if I write who, it's always how. If I write dog, it's always God. I mean, it's just that simple. No matter what I say to myself, even when I'm writing it, it still comes out the opposite. So, oh, you can cure that. No, you can't. I can't. I'm 70 years old. I'm looking for the beautiful worlds that I'm going to be able to go to when I leave this one. And they are incredible, people. Don't think this is beautiful because it's not compared to them. All right? And we're in hell. This is a place where you get to see. Dante's Inferno talks about all the levels of hell. This is it. Burning, you get burnt up in a fire. Freezing, you get frozen solid in a winter storm. You could be tortured by pain and suffering, and all those words, they all exist here. But when you leave this body, right there, whatever you're in that body, all right, soul can't be burnt, can't be shot at, can't be twisted, and any of those things. It changes right there. Your awareness has to change for that. But then again, if you're attached to things here, you can't let go of that. You can't explore the other reality the way you need to. That's a whole different teaching. It's not alien related, basically, because aliens aren't teaching anything positive to the human race. They're doing everything the opposite. Programming people to think that getting on a UFO is a great thing. It's not, people. You get on there one time, did you get anything beneficial out of it? Really? Oh, I got to see all these other worlds. What if it was just a mind program, which it was? Corey Good tells his story that they showed him videos of the past, present, and future in his mind. How are they real? He said the world was going to be destroyed. It didn't happen yet. Kavalacius, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. I was equal with him as far as what we thought. Then he went out to James Gillen's ranch, the SETI ranch, and I warned him. I said, be careful. And sure enough, he changed completely. What he said was different. And everything he said never came true. He also said the world was going to be destroyed within 2 years, and that was like 6 years ago. All these people, the Nasser Harriman claimed all this stuff. Melchizedek, Drumvallel, okay? He claims that he was going to bring the race of the crystal beings outside of the earth, and that was like 6 years ago as well. All these people claim things. The Galactic Federation, people. If I told you it's just a mind program that you believe in, they never come through with whatever they say. Oh, the ships are going to come down and take us next year, or on December 10th, or whatever date they come up with. Oh, it happened in a different dimension. Well, then obviously they didn't come down and take you, did they? So all these stories that these false ideas and beliefs and programs, like I said, programs that people believe are keeping you here, people. And they will keep you here. And guess who's in charge of that? A name, simple name, not Lucifer. Lucifer doesn't do that. Lucifer is the highest angel that fell into the astral plane. Satan was always here. I mean, Jesus had to confront him as well and didn't kill him, did he? So Lucifer is not the angel that they're saying is attacking and coming down in New Jersey now. They're confronting and saying everything's Lucifer and he's making himself known. Not Lucifer, people. But play your game, believe what you want, believe the lies, believe the stories. Never find the truth. You know, we're stuck at this place, and well, do you want to believe it? I guess you can if you want to. But you know, this world's in a very, very bad state of chaos. Do you think we're going to get out of it anytime soon? Well, it's up to you, people. I'm in Hawksblood here. Skype me, Hawksblood11, number 11, 11. All right. Email me, hawksblood1AOL.com. I answer mine, whatever they are, good, bad, or indifferent. But I'll give you the truth if you want to hear it. If you don't write me. If you think I'm a liar, why would you write me? If you think I'm crazy, why would you call me? People, it's up to you where you want to go with your life, what you want to accomplish in this lifetime. We'll be back again, pretty sure. All right, people. Love, light, compassion. Don't go through the light. Well, you got to go through it. Don't stay in it. Don't become the light. You should be on that. All right? There's multiple things. I can go into all those stories, but not here, not now, not today. But I care. I care about people. I'm not here to change the world. I'm lucky if I change a few souls. I mean, I can only change whatever person's ready to leave and learn and grow. But that's your choice, people.